Hello, and welcome to this video. In this video, as well as the following videos, we will take a more in-depth look at the contents, and the story, of Revelation 13. We will look at it in more or less chronological order. For the sake of time, we will not cover all the details of every verse in Revelation 13, but only those which will serve the purpose of our study. The scene opens in Revelation 13 verse 1, where we're introduced to the day when the Antichrist in person, and in human form, is fully revealed, and manifested. Later in the chapter, in verse 11, the person of the false prophet in human form, is also fully revealed. Chapter 13 is therefore describing to us the culmination of the evil plot which Satan has for the human race, as well as the climax of his war against the saints. Up until the end of chapter 12, the dragon was warring against the church as a kind of faceless enemy. But now in chapter 13, he puts on two human faces. These are, the first beast, or Antichrist, and the second beast, or false prophet, through whom the dragon will from then on take his carnage on the human race, to new heights, as well as his war on the church. The dragon will do this through these two evil instruments, who will manifest in human form. There are basically two human vessels, which the dragon will use to execute this war on the saints on his behalf, and his deep deception of the rest of the people of the world. They are as follows. The first beast, which we're introduced to in Revelation 13 verse 1. He's also known as the Antichrist, and his actions are described in verses 1 to 10. Later in the chapter, in verse 11, we're introduced to the second beast, also known as the false prophet. His actions are described in verses 11 to 18. Now, apart from the rest of the New Testament, how do we know that these two vessels of Satan are human beings? We read in Revelation 12 verse 12, that the human population on earth is described as the inhabitants of the earth and the sea. We see in Revelation 13, that the first beast, and the second beast, rise from the sea, and the earth, which means that they arise from the human race. We can therefore safely make the inference, that these two are human in nature. Satan will use human instruments, through whom he will execute his terror, and deception, on earth from then on. This will prove to be very effective, but in a very wretched sense. How do we know that the two beasts of Revelation 13, are two individuals? Satan, the dragon, is described in Revelation 20 verse 10, as an individual, who will be taken and thrown into the lake of fire and brimstone, on the day of judgment. In the same way, the Bible describes in Revelation 19 verse 20, that the Antichrist, or first beast, as well as the false prophet, or second beast, will be captured, and thrown into the lake of fire. These two satanic human vessels, are also described as individuals in Revelation 16 verse 13, as well as in Revelation 20 verse 10. So, from these descriptions of these two beasts, we see that the ultimate fulfillment of the two beasts of Revelation 13, will be in the form of two human individuals, who will act out their respective roles in the interests of the dragon. In our next video, we will discover the disturbing way in which Satan plans to copy the living God, to draw worship unto himself. Thank you for watching.